Falling is not the end. It's part of the process of rising stronger. Life has a way of knocking us off our feet when we least expect it. One moment we're standing tall, confident, full of hope, and the next moment we find ourselves on the ground, bruised, embarrassed, questioning everything. But listen closely. The fall is not your finish line. It's not a sign that you're unworthy or that you've failed permanently. It's the exact moment where your strength starts forming in the shadows. The world may have counted you out, but heaven has not. God does some of his best work in the lives of those who have been broken. The fall teaches you what ease never could. It sharpens your faith. It humbles your ego. It realigns your vision. And above all, it prepares you for the rise that will shake every doubt, every critic, every voice that ever told you it was over. The truth is, no one gets through life without falling. No one. The greatest warriors were once weak. The strongest leaders have faced humiliating failures. The most successful people have chapters they'd never want published. But what separates the defeated from the victorious is not the absence of failure. It's the decision to rise. Falling might be inevitable, but staying down is optional. You've got to look your pain in the eye and say, you may have knocked me down, but you won't knock me out. There is power in that choice. There is fire in that moment. When you decide to rise, you activate something heaven recognizes: resilience. And that resilience attracts grace, strength, favor, and clarity you never had before. Setbacks are not stop signs. They're signals. Signals that something is shifting. Signals that something is growing in you. Your current setback might look like a loss, but it's really a lesson that will lead you to a greater level. Sometimes God lets you fall so he can rebuild you better. Sometimes he allows everything to collapse so that nothing false remains. And sometimes the breaking is not punishment, it's preparation. The breaking is holy. The breaking reveals the real you, the you that's no longer people-pleasing, no longer pretending, no longer settling. That's the version of you that's ready to rise. You are not your failure. You are not your mistake. You are not what they did to you. You are not what happened in that painful season. You are more than the divorce, the betrayal, the diagnosis, the bankruptcy, or the depression. You are more than the rejection, the addiction, or the bad decision. You are not the label they put on you. You are a child of the Most High God, and that means your story is not over until he says it's over. If he woke you up this morning, he's not finished with you yet. As long as there's breath in your lungs, there's purpose in your life. You are still on assignment. And if you're still on assignment, then no fall can cancel what God has placed inside of you. Some people fall and hide, others fall and rise. Be the one who rises. Rise even if your legs are shaking. Rise even if no one claps for you. Rise even if you've got tears in your eyes and wounds still healing. Don't wait until it's perfect. Don't wait until everyone believes in you. Don't wait until you feel 100%. Start where you are with what you have and trust that God will meet you in motion. Faith doesn't mean the fear disappears. Faith means you walk forward even when the fear is still present. Courage isn't the absence of pain, it's choosing to rise anyway. Let me remind you, some of your greatest growth will happen after your greatest fall. You'll learn who your real friends are. You'll discover strength you didn't know existed. You'll realize that you don't need the approval of people to walk in your God-given purpose. You'll stop watering dead plants and stop chasing what was never meant for you. You'll stop shrinking to make others comfortable. The fall will wake you up. The fall will teach you who you are. And when you rise again, you won't rise the same. You'll rise wiser. You'll rise bolder. You'll rise clearer, stronger, more dangerous to the kingdom of darkness than you ever were before. Your rise will speak louder than your fall ever could. There's nothing more powerful than someone who has been through the fire and came out glowing with purpose. Nothing more inspiring than someone who got knocked down and still got back up with a heart full of hope. That's you. That's who you are becoming. Don't let shame silence your comeback. Don't let regret rob you of the resurrection that's waiting for you. You are not too far gone. You have not missed your chance. What God is building in you is not dependent on your perfection. It's dependent on your persistence. Rise again. Sometimes the fall isn't even visible to others. You can be smiling in public and broken in private. You can show up for everyone else while feeling empty inside. But even then, God sees you. Even then, he whispers, "Get up. I'm not done with you." His grace is not intimidated by your pain. His love is not disgusted by your wounds. In fact, it's in your weakness that his strength shows up the most. He lifts the weary. He restores the shattered. He breathes fresh life into dry bones.
And when he raises you up, no one, not even you, will be able to deny that it was his hand that carried you. The enemy wants you to believe that your failure disqualified you, that your past defines you, that your weakness makes you unworthy. But the devil is a liar. He knows that if you ever rise again, if you ever recognize who you truly are, he loses control. Because a person who rises after falling is not only powerful, they're unstoppable. They know what it's like to hurt and still move. They know how to rebuild without applause. They know how to worship with wounds. And that kind of person walks with an unshakable fire. So rise again, not just for you, but for the people connected to your purpose. Rise for the younger version of you who didn't think they'd survive. Rise for the future version of you who's waiting on the other side of obedience. Rise because there are lives you'll impact, storms you'll calm, words you'll speak, and breakthroughs you'll birth if you just keep moving. There is more for you. There is a next chapter. There is a second wind. You've cried long enough. You've doubted long enough. You've been silent long enough. It's time to rise. And when you rise, don't apologize for it. Don't shrink to make others feel better. Don't water down your testimony. Stand tall. Own your story. Wear your scars like medals. Because what you survived didn't break you. It built you. What you went through didn't bury you. It birthed you. You are not just a survivor. You are a warrior, a witness, a living, breathing miracle. And every time you rise again, you prove that darkness doesn't win. God does. Rise again and keep rising. Even if you fall tomorrow, get up again the next day. Victory is not in never falling. It's in rising every single time you do. That's where power is. That's where legacy is. That's where purpose begins. So get up, wipe your tears, square your shoulders, lift your head, and walk forward. Not because you have it all together, but because you serve a God who holds it all together. You're not done. You're not defeated. You're being developed. And when God is through with you, your rise will be greater than your fall ever was. Your current setback is not your final chapter. It's a setup for a comeback. It might look like everything is falling apart, but in reality, something deeper is falling into place. The pain, the disappointment, the delays, they are not wasted. They are preparation. Don't be fooled by how it looks right now. The enemy wants you to believe that this is the end of your story, that the door is permanently closed, that the opportunity is lost, that the mistake you made has canceled your calling. But that's a lie. God does not write people off because they fell. He specializes in raising people up after they've been knocked down. He does not need perfect conditions to perform miracles. He just needs a willing heart that still believes. You may have lost the job, the relationship, the confidence, or the dream, but hear this: loss is not the final word. God has the final word, and when he speaks, things shift. What feels like a burial might just be a planting. You're not being buried to rot, you're being planted to rise. Roots are growing in the dark. Character is being formed in the silence. Wisdom is being cultivated in the waiting. You're learning how to walk by faith, not sight. Because if you only moved when you saw progress, that wouldn't be faith. God is developing something inside of you that the world can't see yet, but when it blooms, it will make sense. This chapter of your life may be painful, but that doesn't mean it's purposeless. Some chapters feel like endings, but they're really introductions to something greater. When a setback hits, it feels like all your progress was wasted, but God doesn't waste a thing. He turns rejection into redirection. He turns failure into fuel. He turns delay into development. That's the kind of God you serve. And if you're still breathing, then he's not finished with you yet. There is more ahead than what's behind you. Stop rehearsing the last defeat and start expecting the next breakthrough. There's a comeback in you. You may not feel it yet. You may still be grieving what was lost. That's okay. You're human. Cry if you must, but don't quit. Crawl if you have to, but don't give up. You weren't made to die in the setback. You were made to rise in the comeback. You have to silence the lies that tell you it's too late. You have to fight back against the narrative that says you're done. God is not limited by the facts. He is not restricted by your past. He is not intimidated by your weakness. In fact, he often chooses the most unlikely people for the greatest comebacks. Look at the people in Scripture. Joseph was thrown in a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and forgotten in prison. But God used that very journey to promote him to the palace. Moses murdered a man and ran into the wilderness, but God used him to lead a nation out of bondage. David fell into sin, but God still called him a man after his heart. Peter denied Jesus 3 times, but became the foundation of the early church. Paul persecuted Christians, but became one of the greatest apostles. Over and over again, the story is the same: setback, surrender, and then supernatural comeback. So don't you dare give up because of what didn't work out. Don't you dare believe the lie that this is how it ends. There's a comeback in motion. You can't always see it because God works in the unseen. While you're stressing, God is arranging. While you're weeping, God is working. While you're waiting, God is preparing. He knows the end from the beginning. He sees what's around the corner. And he's not pacing the floor wondering what to do with you. He already has a plan.
It's not delayed, it's developing. What feels like rejection is often redirection. Sometimes God allows doors to close to protect you from what's behind them. Sometimes He lets people walk away because they were draining you. Sometimes the job didn't work out because the assignment there was not yours. What looks like failure might actually be divine rerouting. Your plans fell apart because God had something greater. You just didn't see it yet. But when the comeback starts, it will all begin to make sense. You have to stop defining your future by your current frustration. You are not stuck. You are being shaped. You are not forgotten. You are being fortified. Your life is not falling apart. It's falling into purpose. But here's the key. You have to keep showing up. Even when you don't feel strong. Even when you don't feel seen. Even when it doesn't look like anything is changing. Keep believing. Keep moving. Keep praying. Keep trusting. Because the enemy can't destroy someone who refuses to give up. And don't measure your progress by what others are doing. Everyone's journey is different. What God is doing in you requires a different path, a different pace, a different process. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not less than. You're just being prepared. And when it's your time, nothing and no one will be able to stop it. What God starts, He finishes. What He promises, He performs. And if He allowed a setback, it's because He plans to use it as a stage for your comeback. This is not a motivational slogan. This is a spiritual truth. Your setback is a setup. It's positioning you. It's aligning you. It's revealing what's real and exposing what's fake. You're shedding old mindsets. You're letting go of toxic patterns. You're becoming someone who is built to last. And when the breakthrough comes, you won't just thank God for the blessing. You'll thank Him for the breaking that got you there. So rise up. Wipe off the dust. Stand on the promise, not the pain. Stand on faith, not fear. Speak life over your future. Speak hope over your family. Speak purpose over your day. You've been down long enough. It's time to stand. The same God who raised Lazarus from the grave can raise your situation from the ashes. The same God who calmed the storm can calm the chaos in your mind. The same God who fed thousands with a few loaves and fish can multiply what little you have left. All He needs is your yes, your belief, your surrender. You don't need all the answers. You don't need every detail. You don't need everyone's support. You just need faith, the size of a mustard seed. That's all it takes to activate the comeback. Because with God, all things are possible. Not some things, all things. It's time to shift your focus from the fall to the rise. From what hurt you to what healed you. From what you lost to what you're about to gain. From the chapter that ended to the new one God is about to write. The story isn't over. In fact, the best part is just beginning. Your comeback won't just bless you. It will bless others. People will look at your life and say, if God did it for them, He can do it for me. Your testimony will carry weight. Your scars will carry wisdom. Your rise will ignite someone else's hope. So don't hide your journey. Don't be ashamed of what you went through. It's the evidence that God is real, that He's faithful, that He can still do the impossible. You may have fallen hard, but you're about to rise higher. You may have been counted out, but you're about to be called up. This is your comeback season. And nothing, no mistake, no delay, no enemy can stop what God is doing in your life. Get ready. The page is turning. The chapter is changing. And the comeback is already in motion. Even the greatest heroes were once broken, bruised, and buried under doubt. It's easy to admire people after their breakthrough, after their success, after they're standing in the spotlight. But what we often don't see is the pain, the pressure, the sleepless nights, and the silent battles they had to endure just to get to that point. Every person who walks in power today once walked through seasons of extreme weakness. Every leader who inspires millions was once on the verge of quitting. Every champion had days where they felt completely unworthy, unseen, and overwhelmed. You are not alone in your struggle. The difference between those who rise and those who stay down is not perfection, it's perseverance. They didn't give up when it got dark. They didn't quit when no one believed. They didn't fold when the pressure increased. They kept going, broken and all. Moses, the man who led millions out of slavery, doubted his own voice. He was a stutterer, a murderer, a man who ran from his past. But God saw something in him that Moses couldn't see in himself. God used a flawed man to carry out a flawless mission. David was called a man after God's heart, but he also committed sin, battled shame, and wrestled with guilt. He cried out in caves. He wept in isolation. But even in his darkest moments, he turned his heart toward God. He was broken, but still chosen. Esther was an orphan, unseen and unknown, until she was positioned for purpose in a palace. Even Jesus, in his most human moment, cried out in the Garden of Gethsemane in anguish, feeling the weight of the cross before it even came. Brokenness is not failure, it's often the threshold of transformation. You don't become great by avoiding pain. You become great by learning how to carry it with grace. Heroes are not immune to hardship. They are shaped by it. You see the armor now, but you didn't see the wounds it covered. You see the crown, but not the crushing that preceded it. You see the victory, but not the valley that trained their hands for battle. Your story is no different. You may be bruised, but you're not beaten. You may be buried under doubt, but doubt does not define you. Your decisions do. And the decision to keep walking, to keep trusting, to keep rising even with trembling knees, is what builds true strength. Don't discount your journey, because you're still in the middle of it. Don't curse the process just because it's painful. Every bruise is evidence that you fought through something. Every scar carries a lesson that soft seasons could never teach. The fire you're walking through now is refining you. The tears you're crying are watering the roots of a future harvest. God is not absent in your struggle. He is active in it. And just like he did with every hero before you, he's working behind the scenes, preparing your platform, aligning your destiny, and using every bit of your brokenness as building material for your breakthrough. Doubt will whisper that you're not enough, that you're not qualified, that you'll never recover, that no one sees the effort you're making. But let me remind you, God sees what no one else sees. He hears the prayers you've prayed in silence. He's counted every tear that fell while you were trying to stay strong for everyone else. He doesn't choose the strongest. He strengthens those he chooses. He doesn't look for the flawless. He perfects those who are surrendered. It's okay to question. It's okay to wrestle. But don't let doubt have the final word. Let faith rise, even if it's just a flicker. Because a flicker in God's hand can ignite a fire. There are people who are watching you, waiting to see if you'll survive what you're going through. And when you rise, not only will they be inspired, they'll be encouraged to get back up too. Sometimes your struggle isn't even about you, it's about the people your comeback will touch. When you rise again, you'll carry authority in areas you once struggled. You'll have compassion for the hurting. You'll walk in power because you know what pain feels like. And that's what makes your story real, raw and relevant. You don't need to have it all together to be used by God. You just need to give him what's left. Your brokenness, your bruises, your buried dreams, your disbelief. Lay it all down. He can work with honesty. He can work with surrender. He can work with what you're willing to place in his hands. What you thought disqualified you may be the very thing that anoints you. What you thought was the end of your purpose might be the exact place where God begins to move the most. Remember this, the people you look up to were once just like you. They battled fear. They faced loss. They doubted their calling. But they chose to rise. They chose to trust again. They chose to move forward even when nothing made sense. And because of that, their names are written in history, not because they were perfect, but because they were faithful. You are walking that same road. You may feel tired. You may feel like giving up. But don't, because one day someone will look at your life and say, if they made it through that, then I can too. So when you feel broken, don't hide. Bring your brokenness to God. He is the potter and you are the clay. He doesn't throw away shattered vessels. He remakes them. He reshapes them. He fills the cracks with gold. And sometimes the vessel is more beautiful after it's been broken. Your value hasn't decreased because of your bruises. If anything, your value has increased because you've survived things that others couldn't. And you're still standing. You're still here. You still have breath in your lungs and purpose in your bones. That alone is reason enough to rise again. You may not see it now, but the strength you are building in this season will serve you in the next. The people who rise from brokenness walk with a different fire. They don't play games. They don't settle. They don't get easily shaken because they know what it took to stand again. They know what it feels like to fight through tears. They know what it means to trust God when it hurts. That kind of strength cannot be bought. It can only be built in the hidden places. Let your story be one of rise. Let your legacy be one of perseverance. Let your scars speak louder than your silence. Let your healing outshine your history. There is power in your survival. There is victory in your vulnerability. And there is purpose in your pain. You are not weak for being broken. You are human. And the greatest heroes, those who left a mark on this world, were the ones who stood back up, no matter how many times life knocked them down.